Week 27 lands in the Lilac City as Spokane Zephyr hosts Brooklyn FC from One Spokane Stadium and Spokane, Washington. Welcome in alongside former U.S. Women's National Team player Casey White. I'm Josh Toll. Tonight's match is brought to you by Eastern Washington University. Our standings, Brooklyn FC currently sitting third. A win, they can elevate to the top spot on the table.
3 points makes a big difference right now, whether you're Brooklyn FC or you're Spokane Zephyr. A lot of change could happen in those top six, a lot of games in hands for different teams, so I think there'll be a lot of movement in the next 2 weeks.
Spokane on the outside looking in. Our standings tonight is brought to you by Eastern Washington University. Spokane here, 7 points in their last 3 games.
They're in great form right now, and that's what you want coming into the spring. They're having players step up in big moments. They've been stingier defensively. Amina Ekic is a big-time player who's come through at the end of games, but also Allie Cook, another addition that has really found her efficiency in the final third.
The final third's been big. Defensively, though, they are doing a great job. We were able to talk with center back Sarah Clark before tonight's game.
Yeah, I think the last 3 games we've definitely started off really strong and controlled those first 15 minutes, and that's what we're going to try to do tonight. I think that's helped us immensely, just setting the tone and imposing our style on the other teams. And yeah, hopefully we can do that tonight against Brooklyn.
And you're an obvious leader in that center back role and getting a shutout in the last performance. Can you just talk about your back line and your goalkeeper and just how well you guys have started to gel and play together?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely had really good chemistry so far this spring. I think that just leans into how much we trust each other and how hard we're willing to work for one another. We've talked about how well that we've shifted and covered for one another throughout all the games that we've had so far. So I think that's what's carried us this half of the season, for sure.
Sarah, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck tonight against Brooklyn. Brooklyn on the other side in their last 2 games, getting a scoring back, but struggling defensively late in games.
They have been giving up a couple goals, and Gurley right here for DC was able to get the equalizer late in one of their last matches, and matching up with Tampa Bay Sun as well. It was a back and forth affair with that team, and it was very difficult for Brooklyn. They're starting to score, which is great, and getting some good moments, but they're going to have to figure out how to do it on both ends.
New face coming up big for Brooklyn, and Grace Philpotts, a goal and assist in the game against Tampa Bay.
This is a wonderful addition for Brooklyn FC. Mackenzie George, we know, loves to attack, but Grace Philpotts in her second start gets her first goal. She has 2 assists as well on the season, but in her last game was in great form and was a really big addition to that attacking final third.
And she'll look to be big in this attacking third, going up against a tough defense for Spokane Zephyr. 3 points on the line tonight for Spokane Zephyr, as well as Brooklyn FC. Third meeting between these 2 clubs on the season. Brooklyn making the long trip from the East Coast to the West Coast, and it should be an exciting one tonight in Spokane as these 2 get ready to kick off starting lineups when we return. Moments away from opening kick between Spokane Zephyr and Brooklyn FC. Third meeting of the season between these two clubs in October. It was Brooklyn gained the win 1-0. Our starting lines will begin with Spokane Zephyr and Joe Johnson. She will have her team in a 4-3-3. 3 changes. 2 of them come in the midfield. No Taylor Almer or Katie Murray.
And that is why it'll be important. We talked to Sarah Clark earlier. Her partnership with Sydney Cummings in those center back roles will be important because Canales and Bellata will come into those holding mid roles with Emma Jaskinek just a little bit ahead of them. The organization will be important as they go against Brooklyn.
Jessica Silver and Brooklyn FC. She will have her club in a 4-1-4-1. No changes from the game against Tampa Bay.
And we saw earlier what Phil Potts can do. Mackenzie George has been a mainstay in this lineup, incredibly effective. The relationship that they have with Scarpelli and Pickard in the wide channels is very fluid and will be something that will really be a catalyst for their attack. But watch for Amani to join Grabius as well centrally as they look to go into the final third.
9 wins on the season for Brooklyn FC. A chance to get their 10th of the season here on the road, winless in their last 8 games. They have yet to win a game here in the spring season. Meanwhile, Spokane Zephyr find their form, unbeaten in their last 3 wins in their last 5 matches as we are underway from One Spokane Stadium in Spokane, Washington. Josh Toll and Casey White with you. And Casey, you look at these 2 teams, one going in the wrong direction, but getting their scoring in the last 2 games in terms of Brooklyn FC.
And I think that's what happens across a 10-month season is you have these ebbs and flows, and that's what both of these teams have gone through in some way. Spokane in the fall was having really good performances. It wasn't turning into results. They've started to change that. With Brooklyn, you're going to have moments, but they've gotten 2 ties in their last 2 games. You mentioned the scoring. That is always going to be something that can help and that they can hang their hat on to propel into this next matchup.
Talking to Jessica Silva about that last game against Tampa Bay. Really played a great game, gave up the late goal, though, in that game, but really felt they dominated that game for 75 minutes. They'll look to get out on the front foot once again here, but it could come down to those last minutes. Adversity coming in big for Brooklyn as of late. Spokane will play the ball back in as this ball's going to fall to the feet of Jaskinek, and she's going to play it all the way back. Here's Cummings playing it up to midfield, plays it out wide. A chance here to get on an early run for the home side. Jaskinek.
And this ball retention for Spokane is something to really look for today. That's something that they're going to want to have as part of their identity. They've had it all year. But when you have 2 new players that come into the midfield, and don't get me wrong, Marley Canales had a lot of minutes in the fall, but just finding that rhythm again without Katie Murray in there is something they'll try to manage in this first 15 minutes and establish that identity.
For Spokane, coming in off 11 days rest. That is huge after playing 3 games in the span of 7 days as they try to go direct, and this will go right into the hands of Niku Purcell. Here are keys to the game presented to you by Ford.
Well, for Spokane, I think it's managing the fluidity of Brooklyn's attack. Brooklyn has a lot of different rotations, especially in the wide areas, players in and out of spaces, not based on their position, so they have to stay compact defensively. And for Brooklyn, it's using the width. Can they create 2v1s against the outside backs of Spokane, and that will help them.
This ball driven in, and it's going to be gathered in. Offside flag, though, was up against Brooklyn. Clark will play the ball forward. Was looking for Haley Thomas. Haley Thomas named to the Team of the Month for the month of March here in the USL Super League. Taylor Almer also named to that team for Spokane. On the other side, it was Mackenzie George for Brooklyn. Clark making her 20th start of the season. Will play it out wide once again. Thomas able to get by one defender in George. George, though, able to hustle back to force the turnover. And then a poor giveaway by Brooklyn's Allison Pandaso. Here's an early opportunity and knocked off the ball. And then getting right back on it is Allie Cook. Allie Cook doing a good job frustrating the back line here early of Brooklyn. Tonight's injury report is brought to you by Kinetic Chiropractic, a modern approach to chiropractic care. Cook towards the touchline. Trying to work her way inside. Unable to get around the defender.
Well, that's something that Cook can really bring for Spokane. She's done it in this spring, not only the scoring touch, but her ability to hold up play. And you saw in that last opportunity where she had the first opportunity, you thought it was going to be cleared, but she's just so strong in possession. So if they can play into her feet, movement off of her, that will really help their attack.
Cook joining the club in January. Joe Johnson talking about how they now have a true number 9. Had a couple players playing out of position, but she has been absolutely tremendous since joining the club. Already 2 goals since being with Spokane.
Well, you can definitely look at the stat sheets and go, okay, this player has been impactful, but it's also how they make the rest of the players better. Putting Jaskinek back in her more natural position of the 10 has helped solidify that midfield.
Jaskinek trying to weave around a defender. Will switch sides. Weiner making a run, unable to get to the ball as this will go out past the end line. Have a player down for Brooklyn.
And this is just the last contact with Bellotta. Amani goes down in this moment. Didn't look like a whole lot in it there, but does fall very awkwardly, and then Bellotta's momentum takes her on top of her. So we'll see if she'll be all right and get checked out in this moment.
Spokane on the season, 3 home wins on the year. Meanwhile, Brooklyn away from home, 4 wins, 3 losses, and 4 draws on the year. Both teams taking a moment to gather around, try to discuss what's been happening here in the opening 6 minutes of play. Brooklyn, even though they're winless in their last 8 games, talking to Jessica Silva about this team, really still focusing on the process, really adapting to the different changes, now moving to Coney Island where they're playing their home games, but now coming on the road, really trying to develop, improve 1% each and every day in practice as well as games.
And that has been our motto all year, is that 1% of individual improvement, and the team gets better every day if you're focused on that. But they have been a club that has had a lot of changes, a lot of adaptability has been needed, but I think one of the positives of coming out of the last 2 games, and the last one especially, was Amani getting her first goal, Phil Potts getting her first goal, and more assists. And so different players coming into impact as well.
Selma Amani could have had 2 goals in that game against Tampa Bay. Had a great shot that went just over the crossbar. Amani getting ready to come back onto the field, and she'll jog back on. Amani, a former player under Jessica Silva while they were both in France. Cummings will give it back to Clark. Thomas plays it inward. Here's Cook. Cook looking for Jaskinek, unable to reach her. Kelsey Hill, the captain, coming over, doing enough to play the ball out past the end line on our first corner of the game. Here coming for the home side.
This is really good interchange from Jaskinek coming from midfield. That late run is so incredibly hard to track and could be really good for them as they draw the center backs out of Brooklyn.
This is the ICCU corner kick, your financial success fan club. Inward swinging ball, back post. Canales plays it in at the top of the area and now sent away once again by Kelsey Hill. This ball played up in the air by Bellotta. Both teams still settling in here in this opening 9 minutes of play. Right now, Spokane's been the more dangerous of the two in the terms of the attacking third.
And one of the things I would say is their defensive shape has made it hard for Brooklyn to play out. They've been a little bit higher and tried to deny the wide area, and then Bellotta stepping in central has been good. That just aids their attack because they're able to be in possession a little bit quicker from their counter-pressing and defensive shape.
Almani will play backwards. Pickard. Brooklyn being patient in their build-up. Both these teams like a pick and choose when they push the ball forward on the direct balls. Here's a chance maybe down the wing for Brooklyn. Back is Tappan. Tappan gained the start tonight. First start of the season for Tappan in her 4th appearance. Joe Johnson really liking what her club has been doing here these last 3 games. Really have found a good form, moving up slowly in the table. Chance here tonight to take up 3 points against a team that's ahead of them in the standings. Philpotts, little step over, slows it up. Grabias, pass deflected, wanted to go inside. Grabias will play it up, and this will find its way out of play.
And I'm really interested to see the relationship form between Philpotts and Scarpelli, with Grabias there coming over from her central forward position as well, because a wing play is really important to what Brooklyn FC does. And with Philpotts coming into form, and the more she plays with Scarpelli, I think that could be a really dangerous combination, because Scarpelli loves to get in an advanced attacking shape as well.
George, always dangerous, plays it out to the wing. Picker goes back inside. Amani. Pickard. George attacking the end line. Nothing developing for Brooklyn, but still applying the pressure. Chance here on the shot, but right at the keeper, and Hope Heisey as she makes her first save of the game.
And Mackenzie George is one of those players you just always have to know where she is. She can invert a little bit, but she's at her best when she's wide, and you're able to, as there's a little bit of pressure there from Bellata, but Mackenzie George loves to get in line, and so that matchup with Haley Thomas is going to be a really interesting one, because Haley Thomas does very well defensively.
George 9th in the league in chances created. Also has 4 goals on the season to go with 4 assists. For this Brooklyn side, last win coming in December. Looking to change things here tonight against Spokane. Spokane, meanwhile, looking for their 4th win here in the spring season. Thomas goes inside. Blata. Numbers forward for Spokane. Zephyr looking to create on the wing. Chance here on the edge of the area. Hard challenge, and it's clean. Weiner back, and she'll let this ball roll out of play. And another corner coming here for the home side.
All of this play starts from the play of Winnie Bellata in midfield. She finds the opposite side, going at speed right here. An early challenge. It was just outside the box. It's Ekich who's found herself on that right side, playing in conjunction with Tappan, but very good attacking play going forward.
Inward swinging ball coming. This is the ICCU Corner Kick, your financial success fan club. Off the volley, and this will find its way out past the end line. Good look there by Weiner, and talking to Joe Johnson about Mackenzie Weiner. It really says that she just feels that it's only a matter of time before the goals come and the floodgates open, leads the team in shots on the season.
Well, it's a really interesting thing with goal-scoring type personalities. The more you harp on it, the harder it can get sometimes. So you want to really focus on the process of how they're playing and just getting in good spots. Yes, you train it. When they get to games, you just want them to play free and play without thinking, and they eventually do come.
Foul coming here, and this is going to be a great opportunity for Spokane on a free kick coming about 15 yards outside of the box. Set piece is always such a crucial part of soccer games, and first opportunity here from a good angle for Spokane. Spokane with 20 goals on the season. Meanwhile, Brooklyn, they've allowed 23 on the year. The strike on target, but right at the keeper in Persol.
But what I like about that is there were 3 players from Spokane that were in the penalty area if that was coughed up. But Purcell does a great job with it. But you can just see that hunger from the Spokane forwards, the midfielders trying to get any opportunity. That's really been the part of their game that they've been focused on, is that attacking efficiency, details, getting numbers in the box. And you can see it here early on.
Both keepers with saves now in the game. Purcell comes in 8th in the league with 27 saves. Meanwhile, Heisey for Spokane, 6th in the league with 34 saves.
And a good opportunity off this set piece. It's Amina Ekic stepping up. She has a good strike. She just had that winning goal a couple games ago off a free kick. This one a little bit further out. Purcell does well with it, but lots of runners in the box there. And you talk about Ekic, she does great on the set pieces, but in the run of play, incredibly dangerous in the isolation of 1v1 as well. So the more Spokane can get her the ball, the more effective I think they'll be in the final third.
Ekic scored the first goal in club history, now has 5 goals on the season. This will be played out by Tappan.
That's really well done by Purcell, just playing out of that pressure with 2 fronts. She's going to have to look to play those long balls.
Scan now and you will win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you, Caruso's, The Burger Dock, Flat Stick Pub, TT's Barbecue, Casa's Top House, IHOP, and Method Juice Cafe. Tappan played it out, and luckily it hit off a Brooklyn defender and goes out of play for a goal kick. Want to play quickly is Heisey. Can also go backwards. And a foul committed in the midfield by Brooklyn. A couple players away on national team duty for Spokane. Sophia Braun with Argentina, Riley Tanner with Panama. Scoop ball. Back is Tappan once again, and she'll play it all the way to Heisey. Clark to the middle of the pitch.
That's a great little ball to find Canales, because Sam Kroger, the holding midfielder for Brooklyn, is covering so much ground defensively in their pressing shape, and just that little clipped ball opposite side, that could be a space that Spokane can get in, as the opposite side of the 6s.
Blata plays it out wide. Blata once again on the ball. Over to Clark. Center back pushing up the field. Weinert cuts it in with the left, repelled out, and a throw here for Spokane. Spokane now looking to go east to west. Up the spine. Brooklyn looking to possibly counter, ball played direct. Gravias ahead of the pack. Cummings back to defend. Gravias in the area. Top of the area. Amani to her right. Drops it off. George to the left. Bending, but can't bend it in the top corner.
Well, what I like about this whole attack is that it's a direct ball initially to get players in behind, Grabius going in behind, but I like her decision to hold up play, allow the play to develop, get numbers into the penalty area. It's Amani finding George getting a half yard just to be able to get the shot off. It's not as accurate as it needs to be in that moment, but the allowing of numbers to get forward from Brooklyn, important right now because they're not enjoying a lot of possession on the road in this first 20 minutes.
Tap and will reverse. Goes all the way back to the goalkeeper in Heisey. Blata looking to connect with Weiner. Weiner nearly got by the defender and gets a foul in the process. Offside flag, was up.
Well, it definitely would have been a foul. She got on that inside shoulder really well, but there was a reason, and it had to be there's a little half yard of space being able to get in. But I like this slip ball, looking to play through the seams, and I like that she cut inside. Just had a little bit too much of an advantage for that offside.
It's going to be a good matchup between her and Pickard here this evening. Amani has been all over the ball, trying to play it out wide, unable to get her to her intended target. Jaskinek gives the ball right back to Brooklyn. George nearly dispossessed of the ball. Windermere Foundation is thrilled to welcome our charity of the month. It's more than a home, it's a way to give back. Please visit our site at www.windermerefoundation.com. Blata.
Brooklyn's doing better of their center back stepping in to press. That's going to aid their attack, and there's just a needless giveaway there from Amani, but there's a little bit of the technical execution piece, that needs to be a little bit better, but the center backs of Brooklyn can step into that midfield where Jaskinek is and Marley Canales. They'll be able to dispossess a little higher up the field and be able to build.
This ball headed up into the sky, but right to Cook. Cook able to hurdle over a foot to Weiner. Weiner cuts it to her right. Weiner bends it off the crossbar. Ekich on the ball. Tap in with the right. Back post. Oh, nearly tipped in, but unable to get the touch was Cook. Exciting moments for Spokane, but not paying off.
And these are golden opportunities for Spokane. Right here, Scarpelli just trying to do too much in the back. Allie Cook takes it over after the tackle, sets up Weiner. I love this from Weiner. Goes to the trailing foot and just bangs it off the crossbar. But they're doing well in the counter press to keep it in the attacking third. Amina Ekich doing well here, finding the feet of Tappan, and Allie Cook would normally put that one away. Goes with the lead right foot when probably should have been the left in that moment.
Grabia's offside flag up against Brooklyn. Two great chances just missed by the home side. Chances from Cook and Weiner. Weiner still looking for that first goal of the season.
And Weiner does everything right from a 1v1 perspective, going against the back foot of a defender who's defending you in isolation. She allows her to cut inside. It was great. Goes more for power. Probably could have gone for accuracy in that moment. Just really unlucky. But these are the things I was talking about earlier. Yes, she wants the final piece, I'm sure, but she's doing so many good things in the run of play as well, doing the right things in and around the box. And you continue to do that, those eventually do fall.
Joe Johnson talking about that balance that she has with Amina Ekic, Allie Cook, as well as Mackenzie Weiner. And you just saw it right there. Reese Tappan also getting involved on that cross that found the foot of Allie Cook. But we're already seeing that begin to continue to meld, especially when you look with Allie Cook, who just arrived in January, trying to link up more here with Weiner as they try to begin to understand a little bit more of each other here as the season continues to progress here in the spring.
You're right. The unit play and just getting more comfortability with one another is something that has to develop over time. But when you look at their front three and then you even add Jaskinek to that, goals can really come from anywhere. And so, yes, it's about the movement, but we're seeing it. They're getting box entries. They're getting into the final third with very clear looks on frame, which bodes well for what they can be over the next coming weeks.
You talk about this clear looks, especially tonight here on frame. You talk about the Weiner miss, the near miss by Cook as well. What have they been doing well right now against the back line of Brooklyn?
Well, I think they're switching the point really well. They're comfortable in possession as we see Purcell is up and ready to go. That's good for Brooklyn in this moment and this early on in the game. But they're having some really nice rotations in the wide area. A lot of it is on switching the point or winning possession of the ball and then going opposite side as Brooklyn is overshifted or out in their expansive shape.
Elite Minds, unlock your mind, unlock your game. Visit our website today. Heisey will go down the middle. Weiner, Jaskinek. Balata able to get around Amani. Cook goes out wide. Tap in. Poor giveaway right there by Amina Ekic. Now looks to get back to defend.
But look at the counter pressing from Jaskinek right away when they lose possession. It looks like it's going to be a counterattack the opposite way, but there's a commitment from the 2-3 players around the ball to win it right away. And Brooklyn has to move that ball a little bit quicker to try to develop numbers higher.
Cook goes out wide. Ekic on the end line, able to keep the ball in play. Ekic on the edge of the area. Cook. Deflection in a corner here once again for Spokane. Spokane looking dangerous here in the attacking third as they try to get the first goal of the game here at home. Third corner of the game here for Spokane. This is the ICCU corner kick, your Financial Success Club. Played in the box, knocked up by Purcell. Loop back in, punched away.
And Allie Cook's just a little bit off, a little bit late on that, but I like that. You want to slash in front of the goalkeeper. You don't want to have that contact because the foul does happen, but that service is a good opportunity right there for them. We'll take a look at the last one. This is Amina Ekic getting it in. There's a lot around Purcell, and it's very, very hard to defend, but she does well. Weiner gets it right back in, and right there, Allie Cook comes across, but lifts that knee up, and Purcell's protected in that moment.
Purcell commanding in her presence there, punching the ball away 2 different times.
Well done by Kroger to get back on that. The pressing from Spokane as well is very good. They're pressing out of that 2 front with the 4-1-3-2, and it's really hard to play out of. So Sam Kroger is having to react to the loss of possession and try to get on that, calm the game down for Brooklyn to try to really feel their way into this one from an in-possession perspective.
Talking to Jessica Silva about Sam Kroger, talking about her, she's just a player with pure intelligence, knows where to position herself on the field, clean with the ball, and really can set the tempo of the game, whether they want to go fast or slow.
Her mobility is incredible in midfield. She does a really good job with reading play and that vision piece defensively and on the ball, and technically executes. You're exactly right. She's a big reason why Brooklyn has had a lot of success in this season.
Weiner backtracks. Blata. Blata getting the start tonight for Taylor Almer, who is out, as this is played to Jaskinik, and this is going to be repelled away. Midfield active here tonight for Spokane. Joe Johnson not afraid to make sure that her center backs move up in the attack as this ball is played long.
When there's the pressing again right there, they match up 4 against 4 in that wide channel. You can tell that's an area where there's a commitment from Joe Johnson's team to try to win the ball back, to deny the wide space for Brooklyn, because that's where they've been incredibly effective, is when Pickard and George can work together, Philpotts and Scarpelli, it's hard to defend. So they're committing a lot of numbers forward.
Dispossessed here by Brooklyn, played into the circle. Gravias goes tumbling to the ground and she's knocked over. This will be a foul called against Spokane. Quite an evening so far for Gravias as Cummings commits the foul. George. Tap up. George able to get back on top. Zephyr fans, scan the QR code to get your single match tickets today. Looping ball in. And Blata will send it away. A chase for the ball. Here's Cook. Cook nearly dispossessed the ball, and now she is. George pushing up. Third meeting between these two clubs. They met early in the season, the second game, with it ending in a 1-1 draw back in October in Brooklyn. It was Brooklyn getting the win by a score of 1-0. These two teams will play again in Brooklyn May 10th. Ekic turns. Ekic with a little room to roam. Has Weiner outside. That's where she goes. Weiner waits, surveys. Ekic cuts it to her right. Ekic back to her left, weaves through traffic. Cleared only as far as Blata. Blata, ambitious.
Well, all of that from Ekic, and it's hard to pick out what was the best about that from Ekic. It ends up at Blata and she gets the opportunity. But what I love from her, and it shows the experience that she has, is she initiates contact to even keep the ball initially when she receives the pass. And that shows a really high level of intelligence and footballing IQ, and you can see just the composure when you see her in the final third, what she can do. It's incredibly hard to defend.
Blata for tap-in. Spokane being patient in how they decide to build up. Weinert. Graziano will play it out wide. Philpotts. Gravias a chance with the left. Deflected out, and a corner kick coming for Brooklyn.
Well, this is great build-up by Brooklyn. They enjoy the possession. They switch the point of the attack, and they're rewarded with an opportunity inside the penalty area. The box entry was good into Grabius's feet, but I like this from Garziano being able to find that opposite side. Philpotts drives, and that draws Reese tapping out. That's what gives Grabius a little bit more space, and it's a good save from Heisey because it's low into the far post, exactly how it should be.
This is the ICCU Corner Kick, your financial success fan club. Left-footed ball, driven in, bouncing around, sent up. Kroger unable to control possession. Cummings. Tapping goes inside, was looking for Jaskinik, finds the feet of Cook. Cook, slip ball, a chance here. Weiner, cut it back for Atkins, chipped him off the crossbar, down, but not in. Twice, Spokane has hit the woodwork. And now a chance here on the counter, long ball, an opportunity, the shot, blocked. What a save right there by the keeper in Heisey, and Grabius standing in disbelief.
Well, she looks exactly how we look, Josh. It is disbelief because what a great save from Heisey in that moment. But this is end-to-end action from both of these teams. Spokane does incredibly well in this moment to be able to get an opportunity, and then looking to go long to Grabius. It's a great first touch, and you almost wonder, how did she make that save?
Full tilt, stretched out, hits the side of her stomach to make the save. Well, you have the woodwork on the other end, and a great key save by Heisey.
No, it's incredible build-up play. Weiner does really good to get there. Cook found her, and then Amina Ekic, that's how close it is. Look at it bouncing down. You can see the bit of the turf popping up. You can tell it doesn't go over the line, but incredibly unlucky for Ekic in that moment.
Balata at the corner. Lumberbeard Brewing is proud to be the preferred craft brewery partner for USL Spokane. Visit our downtown tasting room for the expertly brewed craft beer and food at 25 East 3rd Avenue, open 7 days a week. End-to-end action. The only thing this first half is missing right now is a goal.
And what you want from your goalkeeper is exactly what you got there, because you have to come up with the big save when your team is dominating in possession, and Spokane has really done that in this first half, especially when you've just gone off the crossbar. It looks like it might have gone in the goal. It didn't. It did pop out. Everyone's reacting to that, and Brooklyn was ready to go. They wanted to go long, and you need a keeper to come up with the save in that moment when you've had that, and she does it.
This ball played forward. Another opportunity here for the visitors. Cut back. Philpotts on the ball. Philpotts the goal and the assist against Tampa Bay. Slots it outside. Looped in. Falls to the feet of George. Cook. Knocked off the ball. Here's Amani. Ball sent in. Clark there to receive and sends it back out. Too heavy of a touch, giving the ball right back to Spokane.
Well, something we don't see very often from Sam Kroger. There's been one or two moments of the technical execution piece just being a little bit off, but that happens, and you see the work rate, you see the mobility, and she'll clean that up, but you don't want to have those turnovers a little bit further into their defensive half, otherwise it could cause some problems.
A giveaway once again by Spokane. Philpotts. Canales playing it out wide. A chance here to run. Weinert with the right, looking for Ekic. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
In the defensive shape for Spokane, there's been a real aggressive approach from Tappan and from Haley Thomas in the left back position to make sure that George and Philpotts don't have time on the ball. It's been effective, but I would expect Jess Silva to tweak that a little bit, try to get them more on the ball and draw the outside backs out to eliminate space.
Cummings. Chipped out. Weinert. Want to try and get around Scarpelli. Knocked out. This will be a goal kick for Brooklyn. See Weiner on the left side, Weiner on the right side. What have you liked so far about her performance here in this first half?
Well, she's always looking to penetrate in behind the back line and try to expose that space when Brooklyn's back four are a little bit higher, and that's incredibly dangerous when you have that run, and Purcell just hits that one out of bounds. And so that's what happens. They're making a 2v2 at the center backs, and just little technical pieces are really letting Brooklyn down. But back to Mackenzie Weiner, I think she's just been really aggressive in her runs, and that's something that can be unpredictable and allow your midfielders to join the attack.
Cook had a near goal earlier in this half, but tapped the ball wide. Cook plays it in. A chance here. And Purcell slow to get up once again.
And Allie Cook is allowed to turn and face and gets this ball across with not much time. Purcell goes up, gets hit a little bit from behind. That's Haley Thomas, the left back, in the box, but right there at the end just takes a hard hit on the dangerous ball across.
Purcell, though, able to pop up, so that's great to see. Both keepers have made solid saves so far here in this first half. Biggest one coming on the other side by Hope Heisey. Although Purcell making a great stop on a free kick opportunity that Spokane had earlier from the left foot of Amina Ekic. Game last night in USL Super League. Dallas Trinity with a 1-0 win over DC Power. Chioma Ubogu with a lone goal in that game. Dallas Trinity currently second, one spot above Brooklyn FC. Win tonight for Brooklyn. They will be the first team with 10 wins on the season. Back heel. Kroger thought about it. Fans on it. Jaskinik now will go the other direction. Has Cook ahead. Tappan bounding forward. Cuts in for Cook. Cook able to get around one defender with a shot. Blocked away.
And she's just a handful in that center forward role. She's a forward that can hold up play back to goal, but she's always looking for that half yard of space to face forward and be able to impact.
An opportunity once again. Well, Joe Johnson talking about Allie Cook. One of the things, she embraces contact. Saw a little bit of it right there. Very physical player, like you mentioned, can hold up the ball when need you, but brings that true 9, that true threat to score up front.
And that was something that they had a hard time with in the fall. They were very capable players that were playing in the 9 position, but it wasn't their natural or primary position. And so that just throws things off a little bit. And so you bring a player in like Allie Cook, who not only can score, but can play back to goal. So in the middle third, it's vitally important. She's also a player that Joe Johnson talked about, her pressing style, just the energy and the strength that she brings to their defensive effort as well. So she has filled into that role very nicely. And I think it's elevated the games of players around her in the 10 position and on the wings.
Brings leadership, also won a national championship while she was with the UCLA Bruins. Cummings exits the circle. Tap in. Looking for Weiner as that ball's intercepted. Scarpelli playing it up. Jaskinek. Kroger holds up. Amani into the area for George. George near post, cuts it back, and a corner here coming for the visitors.
Well, this is what Brooklyn's going to have to figure out, is how they create those overloads to get George open, because when they do, she's incredibly effective. And so far, Spokane's done a great job of defending against that. But you can see in that moment, you lose her for 1 second, she's going to create something dangerous.
This is the ICCU Corner Kick, your financial success fan club. Inward swinging ball. And this one grabbed out of the air. This half stoppage time is presented by Rosar Supermarkets. Grabia's playing it forward. Retreating back is Tappan. Gets the ball before Phil Potts. Chance here, maybe late for Grabias.
And although that was off from a technical execution perspective from Grabias, we are starting to see Brooklyn have a little bit more fun in that attacking final third. They're finding some spaces, their movement's a little bit better, so that success is starting to come just to get into the final third, because really throughout this first half we haven't seen that a whole lot, and now it's just figuring out the efficiency piece when they're there, choice of cross, choice of finish.
Foul here committed by Brooklyn. Picker guilty of the foul, as Canales was the player that went down for Spokane. Hill, the captain. Phil Potts goes back to Scarpelli. Plays it in with the left. Right idea right there by Brooklyn, but unable to get the final touch.
Well, there's hesitation by the outside backs. Tappan hesitates to step to fill Potts there, and when she doesn't step, that allows a space that gives Scarpelli the ability to overlap and play that ball across. Heisey does well with it, but what's been so good for Spokane has been their outside back stepping high. You give those wingers too much space, Brooklyn's going to become more effective.
Plata gets the final touch. That will close out the first half of play. Casey, your thoughts on the first 45 minutes?
Besides the score for Spokane, I think they have to be happy with how they've established possession. They've generated good opportunities. Brooklyn is still in this, though. When you go on the road and you keep it at 0-0, they'll be in it and they'll say, hey, we're still in this game, but we can improve going into the second half.
And right now we're joined by Spokane Zephyr, Amina Ekic. Amina, you're getting chances in the attacking third a couple times, hit the woodwork. What was working well in your attack?
I think between the front three and the midfield, we had great interchange, and it was hard to mark. We were not playing positionally, but we were feeling open spaces and constantly moving off of each other. So I think that's what we did really well in the first half.
And it was a dominating performance from you guys and your team. As a leader, what's now the message to your group going into halftime in the second half?
Unfortunately, myself included, we have to finish chances. We have to put that away. We had three clear opportunities that should have been goals, but on the bright side, we are being dominant. We're pressing the ball really well. We're surrounding it when we lose it, and I feel like we're winning it back in under 6 seconds or less, so that's a great positive going into the half.
Amina, thank you for joining us, and good luck in the second half.
Awesome, thank you.
That was Amina Ekic of Spokane. Our score here at the break, 0-0. Our halftime is brought to you by Eastern Washington University. Spokane 0, Brooklyn 0 after first 45 minutes of play, which had plenty of action. What will the second half in store? We'll find out soon enough.
Easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Forfeit defending. Ramirez is in behind the keeper and scores!
Marley Canales with the shot! Cross, Richardson tapped home!
Bedoya launches and tucks it into the top right-hand corner. Whoa! Save man by Alpaisi.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
I'm a real wild one.
Once in a while, we all want to go wild. We just need a little help. Meet a little help. The 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition goes over any terrain, so you can go all out. Get a wild deal on a Bronco Sport today. Lease a Bronco Sport Wild Edition for $339 a month for 36 months, or purchase with 3.9 for 36 and get $2,000 wild bonus cash.
45 minutes down at 1 Spokane Stadium in Spokane, Washington. Our score 0-0, and this first half had plenty of opportunities. Only thing missing is a goal in that first half of play. As we take a look at our news and notes here in the Super League.
Well, a great matchup coming up this weekend with the Florida Derby. Fort Lauderdale and Tampa Bay are going to be matching up. They've all ended in draws. And then also, you got to look towards the Super League playoffs, an exciting time coming up in June. And that's what all these teams are playing for.
Mia Corbin named Player of the Month after recording 4 goals in the month of March. Now at the top of the league lead, tied for with 9 goals on the season. Our schedule tonight is brought.
This week, we're making playoff predictions after match day 26, and the Queen City Gals are back in that #1 spot, Marion. We also had a really fun conversation this week.
Well, no doubt that we're going to make people mad with our playoff predictions, but the conversation is something you don't want to miss. We talked to head coach Philip Poole of the Carolina Ascent about the landscape of women's soccer and the future of the Super League.
Scan now and you will win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you, Caruso's, The Burger Dock, Flagstick Pub, TT's Barbecue, Casa Tap House, IHOP, and Method Juice Cafe. Our score here at the break, Spokane Zephyr 0, Brooklyn FC 0. Highlights when we return.
Cook finds Weiner going towards the end line. A really good opportunity for Ekich, goes off the crossbar. Still evading them that first goal, and then right away finding Gravius, and Heisey comes up very big with the save. She can't believe it. Most of us couldn't either because it was an incredible save there.
Our first half stats are brought to you by Eastern Washington University. Possession favoring Spokane in that first half.
And it was clear they had a lot of possession, that they were also able to turn it into shots, but shots on target only 1. Brooklyn, though, not as much, but incredibly efficient with 3 out of 5 on frame.
Hello, Zephyr fans. Scan the QR code for your chance to win a $100 gift card to Rosar Supermarket's official grocery store of your Spokane Velocity and Zephyr FC. 45 minutes down in the books between Spokane Zephyr and Brooklyn FC. Our score 0-0 at the break.
And it will be interesting to see how both these teams adapt going into the second half.
As we get set here for our second half, Spokane, Washington taking on Brooklyn FC for the 3rd time this season. Spokane looking for their first win ever against Brooklyn FC. Brooklyn won in their last meeting in October. Just waiting for Rachel Sweat to give us our go-ahead here in the second half. It looks like we will have a sub to begin the second half of play. And Grace Philpotts will head off the field, and onto the field will come Emily Yapel. So the one sub made, and we'll see how Yapel makes a difference here in the second half. A player that has seen plenty of time for Jess Silva, so this will be an easy replacement coming onto the field.
Well, I think Philpotts wasn't really able to get into the game much, and it wasn't just her, but the wide spaces weren't as fruitful for Brooklyn FC as they usually are in their rotations, and so it just gives a little bit of a different look. Yapel has plenty of experience coming into the game, and she'll be incredibly effective in this, and might be something that helps unlock that attacking side of what Brooklyn really likes to do.
Yapel now making her 17th appearance of the season as this ball is played out wide. Jaskinek, a scorer in college at the University of Wisconsin, scored 38 goals in her career, was Big Ten Midfielder of the Year in 2022. A player that's produced at the collegiate level, now looking to continue to do the same here at the professional level. Scarpelli back in pursuit of the ball. Scarpelli getting her 18th start of the season, plays it up the touchline. And here is Yapel. Cook.
But the counter-pressing and the aggressive defending from the outside backs, it's Reese Tappin in that moment. They did that all first half, starting the second half doing it as well. It just locks in Brooklyn. They're not able to play out and get speed going forward to get out of their defensive third.
Reese Tappin to play it in. She had a great pass across earlier in the first half. Unable to score, though, was Cook on the tap-in. Weiner. Plenty of chances for Spokane in terms of the attacking third, going up against a tough defensive team. Brooklyn FC tied for the league with 8 clean sheets on the season. Look at the 2 keepers, Niku Persol and Sydney Martinez, both with 4 clean sheets on the year.
We talked about the attacking efficiency from Spokane, but what I've really liked about what Spokane did is their pressing shape. We just saw they gave up possession there because they have 2 front runners. They're pressing out of that 4-4-2, and it's really hard to play out of because they commit a lot of numbers wide when the center backs try to dictate play, and it's just allowing them to keep the possession as more often than not, and that's why they had 59% of it.
Here's Mackenzie George, part of that team of the month for the month of March here in the Super League. Clark. She'll go backwards. Heisey, who had the brilliant save, went full tilt to make the stop on Grabias in the first half. Cummings to her center back partner in Clark. Center back's not afraid to push up for Spokane. Jessica Nick. Kroger back to defend. Cummings. Here's Weinert. Weinert attacking the area. Weinert near post.
And those are moments right there that is the separation. It has to be better once you go in the 1v1. Weinert does a great job of isolating and going right at Leah Scarpelli, and it's great movement to get the ball out there, but those moments could be the difference in getting 3 points or not coming away with any points at all.
Headed back. Scarpelli plays it down the line. And a collision there. Cummings called for the foul for Spokane. Grabias able to jump up.
And Grabias was just coming back to the play. Scarpelli plays long. She just gets positioning. Cummings coming through that a little bit too hard in that moment to commit the foul.
Graziano now with an opportunity to play the ball forward. Graziano with 4 goals on the season, still looking for the first assist. Plays it into the area. Weinertz. Cook, foot race for the ball, headed away. Kroger will go all the way backwards to Purcell.
I like that from Kroger because when Spokane's defending in their mid-block, they only have 1 player high, so it allows their center backs to have more time to play out, and then you can get numbers forward.
Spokane in their last 3 games picked up 7 points. Scoreless draw against Fort Lauderdale United on the road as they return back home to Spokane. Amani with a scoop ball, nice ball forward. Grabias waiting for some reinforcement, knocked off the ball. Blanca getting the start tonight for Taylor Almer. What have you liked from her this evening?
She's always been available in the attack. She's always kind of played in that holding mid role to just make sure the center backs have an option when playing out.
Slip ball, an opportunity here for Ekic. Ekic to her right. Ekic, shot blocked, falls to Weinert. Weinert with the finish! Weinert finally gets her first goal this season. It was only a matter of time. Gets the rebound, no doubt about it. Goes near post, and the home side up 1-0.
Well, you can see the joy on Mackenzie Weinert's face in that moment and all her teammates' excitement as well. But this is great play, and we'll take a look at Purcell is down in that moment, but it's great play through the middle third. Bellotta actually starts everything and is able to play through midfield in the channel, breaks the line. Canales finds Jaskinik. She goes off the dribble. She's scanning. It's a great lead from Allie Cook, and Amina Ekic, I'm sure, would love this. It's a great block right there, but I would argue it's more important for Mackenzie Weinert to get a goal. It's a good finish. She draws a lot of attention, takes her time, settles, lifts it over the foot of Scarpelli for a great finish.
Weinert in the first half had a shot that hit off the crossbar. And you were wondering if it's going to happen tonight. Well, it finally does for Mackenzie Weinert as she gets her first goal of the season.
And what I love about all of that was it was a great build-up goal through the run-up play. Amina Ekic cutting inside to give herself a better angle. It hits Purcell in the face, and she sacrifices a lot to make that save. But what you do is you get another player now that's going to just exude even more confidence in that final third, which will continue to help their attack.
Joe Johnson talking about how it might take just 1 or 2 goals for things to get going for Weiner, and maybe the floodgates will open. Big goal right there to give the home side the 1-0 lead. Kroger, diagonal ball off the kick. Ekic. Jaskinek will turn away. Confidence, though, here for the home side. Continuing to build. They've been the more dangerous and more effective of the two teams in the attacking third this evening.
There's been a lot of reasons for that. Their pressing has been good, their counter-pressing, but also I would argue that the midfield has really dominated play as the call goes Marley Canales' way. Without having Katie Murray in there and Taylor Almer, you wonder what that was going to look like, but you bring in players like Bellata, who hasn't seen as many minutes, but is a very good player, very comfortable in possession. You have Marley Canales, who played a lot in the fall. They've stepped in and played with a lot of confidence. You can see the identity has stayed the same for Spokane, and that bodes really well for what Joe Johnson's trying to do with this group.
Shows the depth of this side. Charles making her 15th appearance of the year. Bellata, a newcomer, just 4 games played. This is her first start of the season. But you step up, you get that opportunity, you have to run with it, and they're doing that.
She's done a good job of just playing in between the lines and getting in possession, getting on the half turn and trying to play forward, but not forcing it. And I've liked that from her. Her decision making has been really calm and composed.
Purcell remains in the game. She's been beat up a few different times here. Made the save from Ekic, but it hit off her face, but able to pop up. She was down a couple different times in the first half as well. Hill. Weiner playing the ball forward, no one up. Elite Minds, unlock your mind, unlock your game. Visit our website today. Jaskinek will drop it back. Popped up high into the air. Bellata.
See, and there's a moment right there what we were talking about. She could have easily gone forward, but she settles in possession, and it's in moments where Brooklyn is organized, so she's not forcing it, and I really like those decisions from her.
Bellata repped at Canadian Youth National Team level, originally from Montreal, Quebec. Weiner down the line, takes deflection, and a throw here for the home side.
And I think it would serve Spokane well if they really try to push in these next 5 to 10 minutes for a second goal or generate as many opportunities as they can, because the longer they let Brooklyn hang in this, they have a lot of quality going forward, and they can really look for that equalizer. So they have an opportunity to put the game away.
Weiner with the left, right at Purcell. Oh, that confidence never lacks for leads the team in shots, but once you get that first goal, you're hungering for a second.
You can definitely tell she is excited and looking to go forward. She's going to have to continue to make those correct decisions in the final third, but you love to see a player excited and looking for opportunities to make a difference.
Yay pull. Grabias cuts it inside. Back to Grabias. She's going to let it go out of play, and it'll be a throw for Brooklyn. Grabias with a great look in the first half, stopped by Heisey. Grabias with 4 goals on the season, 2 assists.
Well, one of the things that's easy to forget is that they had the 3 shots on frame to only 1 for Spokane. So as much as the possession was Spokane's way, Brooklyn very effective in the final third, and 2 big saves from Heisey kept it at 0-0. So that's something that's a little bit scary in this moment.
Bellata goes down the ground, foul call against Brooklyn. For you, what do you need to see more of right now, Brooklyn, in terms of getting in on the attack?
I think they want to try to get a little bit higher from their wingers. I would like to see them more in isolation. Easier said than done, but it's that space behind the back line. So maybe Amani can go from inside to outside, and when the outside backs of Spokane are getting really high on George and Yapel, Garabias and Amani can look to expose the space and pull out the center backs. It's very hard to do, but right now there's so much concentration on those wingers that it's going to have to come, I think, more from a central location to make Spokane uncomfortable.
Yapel, the lone sub of the game so far, came in for Grace Philpotts to begin the second half. Graziano playing it forward, nodded back. Graziano's another player I'd like to see a little bit more on the ball here in the second half, see if she can help create some offensive firepower.
Well, she definitely has the attacking ability to do so, but because Brooklyn hasn't been in possession as much, we haven't said her name as often because she's someone who thrives on that possession piece, and they just haven't been able to really settle in their mid-block and play.
Graziano, Amani. Here's Mackenzie George at midfield. Plays to width. George looking for Amani, just overcooks the pass a little bit too much.
You'll see Bellotta is going out there. They really want to commit numbers to defend Spokane to that wide channel. So that change of point might also be something that Brooklyn can look for. Marley Canales is tucking in. They look incredibly disciplined defensively, Spokane does, but if Mackenzie George can continue to face forward and go in the 1v1, we know how much she can create in the wide areas.
Naples will leave this ball behind. Yapel. Weiner going direct. Was looking for Ekich. Kroger out wide. Amani. Amani trying to create a little space, unable to get by Bellotta. Collision on the far touchline. Zephyr fans, get match ready with the latest Zephyr merchandise. Shop online or in the team store at the Davenport Grand Hotel in Spokane. Lots of the players slow to get up. Looks like she's just tying her cleat. 61st minute here. Our score 1-0. Our lone goal coming from Mackenzie Weiner back in the 51st minute.
And there's a counter-pressing moment right here. Amani just looking to keep Bellotta in. The ball's already out of bounds as that foul's committed, but I like this more from Brooklyn. Yes, the foul comes, but at least there's a mentality to step a little bit higher up the field, put Spokane under pressure just like they were doing to them on the flip side in the first half.
What a difference a season makes, in this case the spring season for Spokane. Were winless in their final 6 games of the winter season. Right now they have 3 wins in 5 games to begin the spring season. Now looking for their 4th win if this scoreline is to hold. If this scoreline does hold, this would be their longest unbeaten run as well for the season. Graziano drops it back. Kroger.
I like Kroger dropping between the center backs to dictate play. It allows this higher positioning from Scarpelli. And again, it's just a mess up on the technical side there and just not able to connect that pass. But it does allow Scarpelli to get a little bit higher. So if they can fix that part of it, I like that build-out play.
Tap in. Try and get by Hill. Good position.
I definitely thought, Josh, that she was going to cut Scarpelli because Scarpelli was coming in, and Ekic loves to do that, loves to take the momentum and go around. She goes for power. Tappan starts this entire thing. I like that she just stands that play and she waits for an option. It's incredibly efficient to find Ekic, and she just goes for it. You talk about confidence. Ekic is playing with a lot of confidence. We know she can strike from distance, and she tries to pick out that far post.
5 goals on the season for Mina Ekic. Possibly could have had one in the first half. It was a couple inches lower, hit off the crossbar. High press forcing the turnover. Yapel. Graziano cuts it to her left. Juan Grabias unable to reach her. Now it does. Grabias into the area. Onto the end line. Got a little too fancy.
Well, Brooklyn is enjoying some more final third entries, and I think that's because Amani and Garziano are getting on the ball a little bit more, so that them dropping a little bit deeper to get on it and be able to dictate play is going to help Brooklyn develop the play a little bit more efficiently and get higher up the field.
Good ball there by Blatza, giving the ball right back to Brooklyn. Stay up to date with the USL Super League. Sign up for the Super Newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at uslsuperleague.com/newsletter. Scarpelli, Kroger. George attacking the end line, cuts it back. Blotter right there for Spokane, having a solid game in her first start.
As this game goes on, Allie Cook is going to be incredibly important for Spokane. If they keep it at the 1-0 lead, her hold-up play when they defensive effort is underway and they're under pressure, it's going to be important for them to be able to play out just like that. Just can she connect, keep possession of the ball, and allow them to play out? Otherwise, you're just going to see Brooklyn continuing to press forward, committing numbers going into the attack.
Here goes Cook. Has Weiner to her right. Cook looking for Weiner. Right idea right there by Cook, but too heavy of a touch on the pass. George for Amani. Right back to George. Nice slip ball. If George can get there, unable to. Scan now and you will win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you, Caruso's, The Burger Dock, Flag Stick Pub, TT's Barbecue, Casa Tap House, IHOP, and Method Juice Coffee.
We're starting to see more of a commitment from Brooklyn to try to press, but Spokane doing well just to advance the play into this middle third, getting on the half turn and being able to play forward. And they're going to have to deal with that as the second half goes on, because it's going to have to get riskier and riskier from Brooklyn to try to dispossess them in the back.
Clark goes up the middle. Here's Tappan. He'll just shepherd this ball out of play for a goal kick. Yapel. Probably right into the stomach of Weiner. Goes over to apologize. Nothing intentional. Mackenzie Weiner with the lone goal in this game for Spokane, her first of the season. Pops back up, maybe got the wind knocked out of her.
You just need a few moments. That just hurts. It just hurts. You start breathing again and get going, so she'll be all right.
Natalie Vigiano will now come in for Marley Canales. Vigiano making her 19th appearance of the season. Last year played in Iceland before making her way back stateside. Now we'll have a pair of substitutes as well for Brooklyn. Kess Elmore will come on. Grabias will head off. Hope Breslin will also come on. Salma Amini will come off.
And I'm wondering if Hope Breslin will play a little bit of a deeper lying position in midfield just to try to get in possession a little bit more with Sam Kroger. Because playing with the two higher players, Garziano and Amani, had a little bit of a hard time getting on the ball against the defensive setup of Spokane. So maybe that'll help dictate play in that middle third.
Good look at Jessica Silver, the head coach of Brooklyn. Cook. Give back. Weiner trying to work her way down the touchline, unable to do so. Hello, Zephyr fans. Scan the QR code for your chance to win a $100 gift card to Rosar's Supermarkets, official grocery store of your Spokane Velocity and Zephyr FC. Cook trying to slip it through. Graziano to the near side. Driving for is Yapel. Yapel going at tap, and Yapel with a shot. One hops right into the stomach of Heisey.
But why not? The attacking transition is where Brooklyn has looked at their best. I like this from Emily Yapel, just going straight at Reese Tappan, forcing her to defend her and looking for an opportunity on frame, because once they lose possession of the ball, there are some spaces to try to exploit for Brooklyn going forward.
Giveaway here by Spokane. Brooklyn, can they take advantage of the mistake? Graziano with a shot, blocked away, and right into the backside of Cummings. Nice ball forward. Scarpelli able to keep it in play. Cuts it to her right.
That entire rotation was the perfect example of the run comes before the pass. You could see Leah Scarpelli saying, play me the ball, just by the intensity of her run forward.
Cook holding up. Give and go. Penaso with a chance. Blocked off. And now a foot race. Weiner gets to the ball first. Weiner waits for some reinforcement. Ekich.
I think the decision-making for Spokane has been really the separator. They want to play with that aggressive possession where they're looking to break lines, go forward, and they're certainly doing that. But then there's opportunities like Bellotta where she looks to keep the ball, or Weiner kind of spun out and kept it. I think that's important for their possession.
Bellotta will at least win a foul. Now getting stretched out, her first start of the season.
Bellotta's covered a lot of ground in this game. Right here, defends really well, gets her body in, and then just gets her heels clipped by Garziano. Nothing intentional in that, but Bellotta's covered a lot of ground. You would not think this is only her 4th appearance with how she's playing. She looks very composed. She has a lot of experience coming into Spokane, and I like what she's done in midfield here this evening.
Bellotta getting the start tonight for Taylor Almar, who is part of Team of the Month for the month of March. Haley Thomas also named to that Team of the Month, as well as Mackenzie George for Brooklyn. Poor giveaway by Spokane. And given right back by Brooklyn. Lumberbeard Brewing is proud to be the preferred craft brewery partner for USL Spokane. Visit our downtown tasting room for expertly brewed craft beer and food at 25 East 3rd Avenue, open 7 days a week. Brooklyn's trying to push up more numbers here, looking for a late equalizer. George gets by Tappan. George on the end line, cuts it across, deflected out of play for a corner.
Great box organization right there, and Tappan not to foul. It's incredibly hard not to foul in that moment as Mackenzie George rounds the corner. This is what she does so well. She avoids pressure right here, good footwork, avoids another challenge, gets her body inside, and Tappan could easily foul there too, so good to let off and really nice from Haley Thomas to come to the near post.
This is the ICCU corner kick, your financial success fan club back post. Drifted over the hands of Heisey. Couple different runners on the back post for Brooklyn. Bellotta turns. Jaskinek out wide. Vigiano cuts it in. Crowd wanting a handball. They are not going to get it. Yapel, long ball forward. Great chance moments ago. Crowd thought it was a handball on the cross. Didn't get the call like they would have liked.
Well, it's incredibly hard. It's one of those things where it was her hand away from an unnatural position when it did get hit in that moment, and so it can be incredibly hard. The ball definitely changed direction, you could see, but it's about really, is she in a natural position when it does happen? And that's always hard, but you know, you don't blame the fans for seeing that change of direction and reacting.
Solid night for Heisey so far here this evening in her 13th start of the year. Heisey looking for a possible 6th clean sheet of the season. Ball played direct. Hill, the captain. Patience still from Brooklyn, not forcing anything yet. Graziano Knocked off the ball, able to regain possession. Trying to get around tap-in. And another corner here coming for Brooklyn.
Well, on the other end of the field, this is what the crowd was in arms about. This ball hits Leah Scarpelli right in the arm, but I think it'd be argued that her hand is down by her side, and that's most likely why it wasn't called. But the attacker in me, that dictates everything right there and doesn't go through.
This ICCU corner kick, your financial success fan club. Scarpelli able to get back on the ball. Scarpelli trying to create with the left, near post.
And Josh, what we're starting to see from Brooklyn outside of these corner kick opportunities is the center backs are starting to dribble, penetrate more into midfield. That's creating 2v1s in the wide area. Then they're switching the point of attacks. Those are the types of things that they have to continue to do to get more numbers forward and to make Spokane have to defend in their final third.
Casey, you're Spokane right now. What are you trying to do if you're Joe Johnson? You're just trying to hold back a little bit, pick and choose when you push forward?
I think it's about moments and when do you go forward. If you have clear possession and you have an opportunity to play behind the back line or go in the 1v1 in the attacking third, attacking half, you do that. What you want to stay away from is losing balls when you're in this big attacking shape and there's an opportunity for transition for Brooklyn. So needless turnovers in midfield and needless turnovers building out of the back. But it's a delicate balance. You want your team to be confident. You want them to play. That's what's gotten them to this point. But it has to tighten up the closer it gets to the 90-minute mark and limit those turnovers.
Cummings in a poor giveaway right there. George looking to capitalize. George taken down. And no call. And George wants a foul. I think Brooklyn fans would agree. Just talking about a poor giveaway nearly right there for Spokane if George is able to stay on her feet.
Yeah, and those are the moments we're talking about because they're in this big shape. You give the ball over, and then Mackenzie George, that's the last person you want running. It does look like there might be a little bit of contact there outside the box. It would have been outside the penalty area if it was called. And it does look like her knee does hit the back of George's ankle. So for me, that's a foul in that moment. It is outside of the 18, so it'd be a free kick, but would have been a dangerous opportunity for Brooklyn.
Spokane looking for their 4th win in their last 6 games. Meanwhile, Brooklyn FC winless right now in their last 8 games, looking for an equalizer here in the 80th minute as we approach the 81st.
And when Spokane's in their organized defensive shape, they look good. They look like they're not going to be penetrated through very easily. It's in the moments of possession and the carelessness as fatigue can set in that you have to be really careful because you're telling your players, if you're Jess Silva of Brooklyn FC, just take risks, go forward, try to get on anything to create a set piece or a counterattacking situation. So Spokane has to be really careful in those moments and not play with much risk.
Vigiano goes up. This ball played out wide. A chance here on the edge of the area. Drop back, Cook. Spokane taking their time. Billy Thomas, part of that team of the month for the month of March. Also played in Germany and Iceland before making her way back stateside. Give away to George. Kroger. And now we'll have a substitution for Spokane. Off a goal, Mackenzie Weinert, after scoring her first goal of the season. Julian Valorant will come onto the field now for Spokane Zephyr. And how about the game tonight for Mackenzie Weiner?
Well, she has to feel great. Getting that first goal is so important for a front runner and attacking personality. You just get that done, you get moving, you can stop talking about it, and because her play between the boxes has been great, she creates opportunities, but it's really nice to see her have that success here tonight.
Nearly had one in the opening half as well, but hit off the crossbar. Ultimately getting the second off a rebound. That Persol made the save initially with her head, but fell right into the path of Weinert, and she finished it off. Cook, and an easy save for Persol. Stay informed about all things Super League. Visit USLSuperLeague.com for all the latest information, analysis, and insight into the league. Both these teams off until April 12th for Brooklyn FC on the road once again, taking on Carolina Ascent. Carolina Ascent currently first in the standings. Meanwhile, for Zephyr, another team that they can take advantage of taking points as they go against Dallas Trinity. Dallas Trinity currently second in the standings. Talk about these wins, possible points, getting against teams that are ahead of you in the table. This is huge for Spokane if they can remain with the 1-0 lead.
It is, and we haven't really talked about it, but the road trip that they were on was incredibly difficult.
Is headed back, and now Cummings able to clear it away. Graziano back to her left foot, works her way down the touchline. Cut out, but right back to Graziano. Ball played in, top of the area, sent away. You go back to that tough stretch that they had, the 3 games in 7 days, really came together, ultimately got 2 wins out of the 3 games, finished with a draw against Fort Lauderdale. At Fort Lauderdale, that was a big point on the road.
It doesn't really get much better than that in a tough stretch of that magnitude, and to end it with a shutout on the road as well against a very talented team in Fort Lauderdale. So there's a lot of positives coming out, and you can tell tonight, I think, being at home too, they're excited to be they're excited to be there and have a lot of energy in this game.
Vigiano trying to play it to space, trying to get on the ball, does. Turns aside.
When Brooklyn was putting Sasha Pickard a lot higher up, trying to build out of a 3-back, but it's those turnovers that are absolutely hurting them in that moment, because their fluidity is very good, new spaces, but they're just not able to execute and be efficient in their passing in the middle third.
Chance here for Brooklyn to push up with just under 5 minutes remaining in the game. Pickard on the end line. Cuts it in, but no one there for Brooklyn. Cook, scoop ball. Tori Hansen now into the game. Scarpelli out.
And I would assume, just knowing Tori Hansen and everything that she possesses as a player, she's an organizer. She can come into the center back role and maybe go to 3 center backs where they can get players a little bit higher up the field and play a little bit more aggressive with her ability to cover in the space behind in transition.
Graziano knocked off the ball. Jessica doing a good job knocking the ball away from Graziano. Valorand on the return pass. Ekic.
And that's what they have done. They've moved Pantuso into midfield, almost on the forward line. They've gone to a 3-back with Hill, Hansen, and Pickard in the back. So they're trying to push Pantuso a little bit farther forward.
This ball played out wide. Hansen into Hill. For Spokane, this could be their 6th win of the season. For Brooklyn, it would be their 7th loss of the year. Kroger. Blata out wide. Ekic. Back to Blata on the return pass. Kroger goes backwards. Hansen going up the middle. Hard challenge by Valorant, and it's going to be a foul against Valorant.
It's a small thing, but Yapel goes inside to her right just a little bit to make that a more obvious foul call in that moment as Valorant goes to the ground. Really smart, so now players can get forward. You have aerial presences like Pantuso who can get in the box, and you can get this service right. It could be a dangerous opportunity on frame.
Graziano sets up with the right foot. Kroger nearby with the left. Graziano gets set. The service into the area. Headed up. Not cleared out. Blocked initially by Jeskinik. And now sent away by Spokane. Ball looped in. Graziano. Back post. Graziano had Hansen hanging out on the back post, but unable to connect with her on the pass.
And she's another aerial target, so you can see why Graziano would try to pick her out in that back post area, but the box organization was very good in that moment. Spokane's going to have to remember who are their target players. If they get these services in, they have to know where Hansen is, Pantuso, players like that are very good in the air.
This half of stoppage time is presented by Rosar Supermarkets. This ball played inward. Dying moments here for Brooklyn. For Spokane, this would be their 4th win at home on the season. First half of the season, shots were not falling from. It's been a different story here in the spring season for Spokane. And that was something that Joe Johnson talked about on our phone call. How it was just a matter of time. They come, they get Allie Cook. She provides goals. You get Mackenzie Weiner now providing her first goal this season. But a much different looking club here in this spring season than what we saw in the fall.
This is a great time of year to be peaking, not only in performance, which we saw a lot of glimmers of in the fall, but in result and getting points in very difficult situations. This is the time you want to feel like your team is doing it on both fronts.
And you can say the same thing for Brooklyn. 9 wins in the fall season, yet to get a win here in the spring season. Cook slows it up, playing with patience. Tappan taking her time. He's Tappan, another player just signed in February. Purcell sends it away. Cook holding it up. Play it out wide. Valorand. A chance to go to the corner flag. She's going to play inside instead.
Well, they did everything right in that moment. No need to cross. Smart there, though, from Valorant to let that one go out of bounds. But you can see the hold-up play just earlier, moments ago, where Allie Cook is so vital in moments like this, just to keep the ball and allow them to take up time off the clock.
Brooklyn needs to be aggressive, pushing the ball forward. Blata there to repel the ball away. Tappan up into the air. Package got her hands up in the air. Joe Johnson wanting the time to run out.
I'd be saying the same thing.
To officially come to an end. Spokane also looking for back-to-back games with a clean sheet after getting a 0-0 draw against Fort Lauderdale. And there is the final whistle, and Spokane gets their first win against Brooklyn FC on the season by a score of 1-0. Our lone goal coming from Mackenzie Weinert. Casey, your thoughts on tonight's play?
Ultimately, Joe Johnson talks about performance. Spokane has had many games with performance, but it comes down to results, and this is a big result. It brings them within 2 points of Tampa Bay, who is currently in 5th place, and they're really peaking at the right time.
Spokane extending their unbeaten streak to 4 back-to-back games with a shutout. Mackenzie Weinert getting her first goal of the season. Thought it might have came in the first half, but she hits the woodwork. No doubt about it in the second half. Gets the rebound and puts the shot away for her first goal of the season. And we are now joined by Mackenzie Weinert. Mackenzie, congratulations on the win. You get your first goal of the season. Can you just talk us through that goal?
Yeah, I think Amina got space. She cut in, and the keeper made a save. And it just went straight to my feet, made it an easy tap in.
Well, you're obviously happy with that, but I think also just your play in conjunction with your other front runners was incredibly effective. Can you just talk about your attacking group and what all of you bring to this team?
Yeah, I think we've been great. We've really been putting it together in the spring season so far. And everyone is just such a great player. So it's been really fun, and we're getting really good chemistry. So I think it's just going to open the floodgates from here.
Mackenzie, you also hold Brooklyn off the score sheet, back-to-back games with a clean sheet. What also right now is working defensively for your team?
Defensively, we're rock solid. Everyone in the back line, whether it's Reese coming in today, AB who wasn't there, everyone is just so great, and we're fighting for each other. We're making sure no goals go in. I think we've been putting up really good defensive efforts so far.
Mackenzie, congratulations on the win, and congratulations on getting your first goal of the season.
Thank you, finally.
That's Mackenzie Weinert joining us, scored the lone goal in this game. That goal coming in the 51st minute. Our score, Spokane with a 1-0 win over Brooklyn FC. Back-to-back shutouts for Spokane as they get the win 1-0 over Brooklyn FC. We take a look at our highlights brought to you by Eastern Washington University.
And this was a game that started all Spokane's way in the first half. Weiner was incredibly good in front of goal. The crossbar would deny her in that moment, but continuing to go forward. Allie Cook playing Weiner in as well. Very active, runs behind the back line. Amina Ekic again hits the crossbar. They just couldn't figure out a way to score there in that first half.
Tonight's play of the match is brought to you by Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
Right here, it was Amina Ekic now returning the favor, cuts inside, love that composure, it goes off Purcell, and that's a great finish from Mackenzie Weiner. She makes it look easy. That is not an easy finish because you've got retreating defenders coming across. So for her first goal, lifting that over the leg of Leah Scarpelli, that's the difference here this evening.
As she says, finally she gets her goal, and a big one it is. Tonight's stats are brought to you by Eastern Washington University.
And in the second half, Spokane was much more efficient with their shots on target, increasing their shot count, but also 4 of the second half shots were on frame, bringing their total to 5. 4 out of 8 for Brooklyn. They were efficient in the final third with that, but they couldn't find the possession piece with only 42% or that goal.
Spokane with a win, and a big win it is as they continue to move up the ladder, currently 2 points behind Tampa Bay Sun.
Well, they're making a run at the right time to make this really interesting, but they're going to have to continue in their form because they didn't have those results early on. But you can just see how incredibly tight it is in those top 4 and an uneven number of games. So you just really don't know where teams are going to settle.
Their next match coming against Dallas Trinity, so a chance to also take points away from a team that's ahead of them in the standings. But Spokane looking dangerous tonight, a much different looking team than what we saw in the fall season. A large part producing goals, finishing their opportunities when they have a moment, and their defense being strong as they get back-to-back clean sheets here tonight. Our final score is brought to you by Eastern Washington University. Spokane 1, Brooklyn FC for our crew. For Casey White, I'm Josh Toll saying thank you and good night.